Today's video is part of HoneyBee Stamp's video hop for their brand new Perfect Picnic release. Hey everyone, it's Joy here and welcome to my channel. We're going to be using the Lovely Layers berry basket today, and we're going to create it to be 3D. It is so cute. I love it. I think this would be cute absolutely to give to someone as a card or as little place settings would be darling. So I have die cut all the pieces, and I'm going to do a little bit of ink blending with the bundled sage. I am using scrapbook.com's sea salt cardstock here. I think it's like the perfect color for the little fruit containers, the little berry containers. So I'm just going to do all of that. And then I have some darker green pieces, forest green from scrapbook.com that's going to go on the inside. So let's glue these together. This really is easy to create a 3D box. If you do it differently than I do, you can fold it down. But I didn't want to do that. I have it set up where it's just going to be 3D, and you could give it to somebody like that. You could put it in a gift bag and give it. I think that's really cute too. So that's how I'm going to do that. So now we have these little tabs here. So I've die cut two pieces for the sides and for the front and the back if you're going to do a 3D piece. So then I have my adhesive there, and I'm going to fold back on those score lines. So now we have our front and our two side pieces, and now we need to glue on our back. So let's add our tabs, or add adhesive to our tabs here. So sorry. I'm doing tape runner and some liquid adhesive. You could do a double-sided adhesive if you wanted. That works well too. I'm going to fold this, press this down, and now we have our 3D piece. Let's add the detail pieces to the top. I am using 1-inch foam adhesive to give it some dimension. Of course, I have to have dimension on all my projects. It's pretty rare if I don't. But this is low profile, so it doesn't stick out too far. It's really a nice look to have a little bit of dimension on it. So I'm just going to add those pieces all the way around the front, the back, and both of the sides. Now I am using, of course, the Lovely Layers berry basket, which comes with strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries. I guess you could also make them blackberries. And I'm going to do some ink blending on my colored cardstock here. I have mowed lawn. I'm going to use rustic wilderness, chipped sapphire, candied apple, and gathered twigs are the colors that I'm going to be using. So to do what I'm doing, you have to die cut a lot. I'm not showing everything that I die cut here. And I'm just ink blending the ones really that you're going to see from the front. The rest of them moving towards the back, because this is going to be layered, you're not really going to see, so you don't really need to do the ink blending. I'm doing the smaller cluster of blueberries, but there is a larger one. I did do that one. I'm just showing this one on camera here. And again, just a little bit of ink blending. If you were going to do something like this for some table settings, if you were going to have a fun little garden party or something like that, just don't even take the time to ink blend, because it's still beautiful without the ink blending. Here are the raspberries. So we're going to do a little bit of that. We've got 3 different sizes here. And I want to say in the description, I have the information about the video hop and giveaway, but definitely leave a comment down below in the description if you like what you've seen. Please subscribe to the channel. Hop along if you like other channels. Definitely subscribe to them as well. It is super helpful for us as YouTube content creators to have subscribers if you like what you're seeing. But definitely leave a comment so you can be eligible for a giveaway. So let's glue our little clusters of strawberries together. You have a couple different layers. I did a lighter color green for that larger strawberry. And then you have these smaller strawberries off to the side. I am going to pop these up with foam adhesive. I would do this whether I was putting this on a card or doing it with this 3D berry basket. I would still put foam adhesive behind this just because it looks better. It gives some dimension, and it's really cute. So how cute. So I glued together some other strawberries. I actually ended up not using all of them. but you can. So I'm going to say now that I have filled my basket up about halfway. You could fill in more. I wanted to save time on the video, but also you could put in a gift card, another little note card inside of the basket in the back part, and you'll see what I mean here in a minute when we start putting this together. So if you left a little bit open on the back, you could absolutely insert other things in here. This I'm doing for a birthday, but you could do it for anything. And of course the sentiments are really darling. Now let's put the little top pieces on our blueberries. These are such fun details. Of course, Lovely Layers from HoneyBee is just always amazing, and these are no exception. Let's put our raspberries together. You're going to glue this one up a little higher because you're going to have a cluster of 4 raspberries. So let's do the same thing with some foam adhesive. I kept forgetting and putting liquid glue on. And I'm like, no, I need to do some foam adhesive. Let's add our bottom one here. This is the tiny one. It's going to go right here on the bottom. And then we can add our green tops right to the top of each one of our raspberries. And then we can get putting this together. Now I am going to use foam adhesive between the layers of fruit to give it a more realistic look rather than having all of the layers of fruit just stuck to each other with no foam adhesive. You absolutely, I would say, need foam adhesive for this in between. So we're going to do that, and we're going to create some gorgeous layers. Let's do our sentiment first, and then we can start putting everything together. On some craft cardstock, I am using the Berry Sweet Summer Sentiments, and I'm going to die cut 2, and it's going to say, wishing you a berry sweet birthday. And also from craft cardstock, I use the Barnwood planks and die cut 2 of the planks, and I trimmed those down smaller than they are. And then we're going to do some ink blending with that. But I use the coordinating dies for that. Then I just trimmed some paper. I trimmed a thick piece of white cardstock. And then I'm adding a strip of craft cardstock on the front and the back. And that's going to be our post for our little signage here. That's what we're creating. So I'm going to ink blend both of those. And I'm going to glue this onto our little piece here. I'm going to trim off that white part at the bottom. I'm going to trim off what I don't need if it's a little too long, but I'd rather start with it long enough than not long enough. So let's adhere our cute little sign, these 2 pieces together. It kind of reminds me of like when you have your garden and you're going to plant you have your stuff planted and you have those little picks that you put in that you can write on what your garden is. That's what this kind of reminded me of. So then we adhered that sentiment there. So I'm going to start with strawberries, blueberries, raspberries in that order, and I'm going to glue those directly to the front of our berry basket with some liquid glue. I'm using liquid glue because I really want it to hold well. You could do a combination of tape runner and liquid glue. Tape runner will hold it temporarily while the liquid glue dries, but this glued quickly. So I glued those 2 together. Now let's put the raspberries in. And then the next layer, I'm actually going to do about 4 millimeters of foam adhesive, but I'm going to fill it in a little bit after I have all this in. And I'm going to do a little bit of liquid glue on my foam adhesive just for extra hold. So this piece here is really far back, which is what I wanted. I wanted to create some serious depth. Now the rest of it, I'm going to add 2 or 3 millimeter foam adhesive on the next layers. And I'm just going to use some some foam adhesive and some liquid glue to create my layers. I'm not going to show all the layers, but I go back about halfway and I just fill in. But the next layer I want to add is my little sign here right in the middle, and I'm going to add some foam adhesive on that as well. And I do add a double extra layer on the very bottom, so it kind of attaches to the front of the berry basket. So now where we have that kind of really thicker piece of foam adhesive, I'm going to add a few of these smaller blueberries with foam adhesive behind that, and it kind of fills that space in nicely so you don't see that white foam adhesive. But look at how cute that is, you guys. So I added some more layers behind that, but I didn't need to show that because I'm just adding more and more layers, making sure I can kind of see them. And now I'm going to tie some twine around our berry basket here. And then from the summer picnic paper, I cut a 4x4 piece, and I'm going to glue this down because this looks like this is setting on the tablecloth, which I think is such a cute idea. So I'm going to just glue that down. And it's not all the way dry while I'm showing you this, but it does dry nicely. And look at how cute this is. Oh my gosh. So again, there's a little bit of room in the back of that berry basket. Drop a treat in there, drop a gift card in there, or fill it up all the way. But I think this turned out good. So cute. Make sure you guys leave a comment below. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.